Alright, so some of you have been having a little trouble with percent of a number. So I'm going to do a few examples just to refresh your memory on how you find percent of a number. So I have a few problems here. I'm just going to choose a few of them, about 3, just so that you can get an understanding of percent of a number. The first one will be 39% of 62. So the first thing you want to think about is what your answer should look like. So 39% is close to 50%. 50% of 62 means about half of 62, which is 31. So that means that my final answer should be somewhere around the number 31. Okay? So let's do the math and then figure out if my calculations are accurate. So remember, before you can do anything, 39% has to be changed into a fraction or a decimal. And 39% doesn't change into a fraction easily, so you should use the decimal form. 39% as a decimal, remember what you have to do is move your decimal point 2 places to the left. So you go 1, 2, and there's your decimal point. So that means that 39% is actually 0.39. The word of, remember, means multiply. And then you have your 62. So over here, I'm going to do the math of 39 hundredths times 62. So I have 62 times, let's make sure we have enough space, times 0.39. And remember, you don't have to line up decimal points when you're working with decimals. So 9 times, when you're multiplying decimals, I should say. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 6 is 54, plus 1 is 55. A 0 to hold the place. I usually put a little x in there. 3 times 2 is 6, and that 1 is gone. 6 times 3 is 18, and there's nothing else left to multiply, so I can bring the entire 18 down. I add 8 plus 0 is 8. 5 plus 6 is 11. 8 plus 5 is 13, plus 1 is 14. And 1 plus 1 is 2. Now, you cannot forget to move your decimal, to put your decimal point in the answer. So over here, I have 0 decimal places. Here I have 2. So in my answer, I should have 2 decimal places. So starting from the outside, I move 1, 2 decimal places. And so my answer here is 24 and 18 hundredths. 24.18. And then you always circle your answer. Now remember, we said that our answer should be around 31. Now remember, 50% is more than 39%. So that means that 31, which would be half of 62, it should be more than whatever our answer is, which is 39%. So 24 and 18 hundredths seems reasonable because it's less than 31. Let's take another example. We're going to do number, erase here, and now we will try number 10. Okay, so now we're going to work with number 10. We're looking for 90% of 60. 90% is almost 100%. So that means we're looking for just about all of 60. So our answer should be close to 60. So first we start with 90% of 60. Remember, you have to change your percent into a decimal. Don't forget about that. So changing our 90% into a decimal, we move 2 places to the left. So now we are working with 0.9, of means times, and then 60. Okay? Now mental math should show you that 9 times 6 is 54, so 9 times 60 is 540. Remember that you had that 1 decimal place, so that means you have to move 1 decimal place in your answer. So your answer is actually 54. Now, is 54 close to 60? Absolutely. So does that sound reasonable? Yes. Now for those of you who need to see the multiplication, I'll show you that. You have 60 times 0.9. 9 times 0 is 0. 9 times 6 is 54. You have no decimal places. You have one decimal place. So in your answer, you should have one decimal place. And then we move that one decimal place to the left. For those of you who are wondering why I didn't put this 0 here, it's because it's at the end of a decimal number. So I don't need the 0. I don't have to put it there. I can just use 0.9. Okay? Let's try one more. We're going to try one now that has a percentage over 100%. So let's try 122% of 82. Okay? For 122% of 82, what you have to think about is the fact that it's more than 100%. So if it's more than 100%, that means that your answer should be larger than 82. So if I get an answer that's less than 82, I know it doesn't make any sense. So I follow the same process. I'm going to have 122% of 82. I have to move my decimal 2 places to the left. So I go 1, 2. So now I have the problem 1.22 times, I can use parentheses also instead of the dot, times 82. So now I have to actually do the multiplication. So I come over here to the right and I have 1.22 times 82. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is, 2 times 1 is 2. 0 to hold the place. 8 times 2 is 16. Carry my 1. 8 times 2 is 16 again. Oops, see that? Made a mistake. 8 times 2 is 16 again, plus the 1 makes it 17. Carry the 1. 8 times 1 is 8, plus the 1 is 9. And if I can get my 9 in there, now I just add. So adding 4 plus 0 is 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. Carry my 1. 7 plus 2 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. Carry my 1 again. And 9 plus 1 is 10. So don't forget your decimal places, okay? I have 2 decimal places. I have no decimal places. Just to be certain, this was not a decimal. That was a 1 that was carried, okay? So that you're not thinking that's a decimal. And then 2 plus 0 is 2. So that means in my answer, I'm going to have to move 2 places to the left. 1, 2. So that means that my final answer, okay, caret for good format, is 100.04, or 104 hundredths. So remember when we started this problem, we said that if we're looking for more than 100% of 82, that means all of 82, which would be 100%, plus more. So the answer should have been higher than 82. Well, take a look at your answer. Is your answer higher than 82? Yes. So does that answer make sense? Is it reasonable? Yes. These are the things that you have to think about when you are doing percent of a number.